Welcome to a special edition of Vikings Film Room. I got Gabe Henderson here to help me with the best of the quarterbacks of the 2024 NFL Draft. Bo Nix, kind of a bit of an enigma. He's been around a long time, played at some different schools. Yeah. What is it about Bo Nix do you think will translate to the next level?
Well, I think when you start looking at the quarterback position, the number one thing that Kevin O'Connell wants is accuracy. But two, you got to be a leader. I've seen Bo Nix play twice in person, and seeing him on the sideline with his teammates, he is the ultimate leader of men. And I think that's something that won't show up on film. But once you start seeing what shows up on film, you put two and two together, and you say, okay, I get why this guy is a quarterback, or at least one of the top quarterbacks in this year's draft.
And I think he's a guy in college that had to operate in a system, and he's on target, and he's on time with the right footwork.
Yeah.
And I think those things are what NFL coaches are looking at. Yep. Let's take a look at the film here, though, and see. Let's dig a little deeper and say, what is it about Bo Nix that coaches are going to love? And I think this first play does a really, really good job of that. And it's about motion and relationships with DBs and what motion can do. So when you see this receiver at the top of the field, we've got him connected with the safety. He'll go in motion, but watch what he does with this safety. Right when that ball is snapped, you see that safety started right about over here, but he worked his way over. That is huge.
Yep.
Why? Because of this relationship right here. And when you've said it before, when you're even,
you're leaving.
You're leaving. So you're going deep. There's that opportunity. But I also love the throw to the far side, away from the deep middle safety that can't get involved. Beats the corner at the line of scrimmage, and it's a touchdown. So very, very good job by Bo Nix to seeing the defense adjust to that motion.
And seeing that motion and still being able to complete that throw, that is simple pitch and catch. Whether it was a deep route like that or a screen pass, a lot of the receivers that Bo Nix threw to, a lot of those catches were 1 inch in front of the face mask where it was supposed to be, so you can catch it and make a play.
But it's him operating in the system.
Yes.
Right? The motion causes this and then goes to that. He's not just like seeing things as he goes. It's a plan that's executed. And that's another level to this whole thing. Now, this next play, you're, cross midfield. They run a route here that you'll see a lot in the NFL, and I enjoy breaking this one down. This is quarters, right, on this side of the field. Basically, you have two on top, two underneath, but you're getting the switch route, right? And in defense, we call it a switch route. Why? Because these two guys here have to switch with the guys that they're covering.
Got it. On the offensive side of the ball, I look at it, when you look at a switch route, the outside receiver replaces what the inside receiver is doing. So they basically switch and hopefully have those DBs run into each other so somebody can be wide open.
It's like, so everybody knows what a switch route is. Right. Offense, defense, it doesn't matter. But we're going to see mainly it's this safety right here that gets himself just too wide, and it opens up what? This lane in the middle of the field. Bo Nix sees this. Wide open. So again, it's a system getting guys open. He understands where he has to go and what he has to do, and then has the arm strength and actually get down there.
Yeah.
Pretty compelling play and argument for Bo Nix.
It just looks so easy, right? Like the way he's able to get up and step up in the pocket, make his throw, put it 1 inch in front of the face mask, and go on to the next play. He makes it easier than what it should be, and I think that's what a lot of scouts are looking at right now.
All right, and again, this next play, a lot about the number count. Two receivers down here. You have two defensive backs over here, and really this safety way almost on the opposite side of the field. You've got a lot of space. Again, finding those voids, knowing where those voids are, that's something Kevin O'Connell talks about all the time. If this is the NFL, right, this ball is already on its way, and it's going to this route right here. You've got someone dropping in coverage here. You've got some area. This is where I think in the NFL, he's going to have to throw this football.
But the reason why I'm laughing is because if you're 15, I'm looking at that safety and I'm like, Bo Nix, do not throw me this ball. Do not get me lit up across the middle. So you are getting, they call it alligator arms, and your arms don't go out as far. That is the first thing on his mind right now. So Bo Nix has to put it in a proper place.
There's nothing but pain in the middle of the field, right? Do not go to the middle of the field. But as we see, lets that thing develop, sees the open and the coverage on the outside, and he gets the football out. So this, I think, is part of the system, but then his ability to say, all right, I'm not going to go where it's planned. I'm going to make the play where it's there. Right. By unique circumstances, that play was there. So again, kind of making it up as he goes. But I love the ability to see the field and find the open receiver. So this next play is another example of really like an NFL style route and read that Bo Nix is able to make. And as this play develops, again, notice pre-snap, the relationships. You have 3 receivers. You really only have 3 DBs. Somebody over here is going to be open, should be open. It's a number count. You always want to have +1 on the defensive side whenever you're covering receivers. But as this play develops, freeze it. Why? Because he's got a couple of options. He has this quick out route right here to this tight end. That's something that's there. It's a bullet route. We see it all the time. But he's able to see this guy squatting on him. This is a linebacker. There's no way that this linebacker is going to be able to get deep from this position. This safety is, I don't know, he's way on the other hash. And this DB is where? Outside shade. So where does that ball need to be thrown?
To the hash mark.
Exactly. You got to throw this ball right in this lane right here. But his ability to see that, not take the short one, but take the big one right here. Watch this throw. Boom. Woo. On the money.
Wow.
Split the nickel and the safety. That's a great play by Bo Nix right there.
Great play. It could have been blown up if he throws it an inch more inside. It could have been blown up by that safety. So the fact that he placed it right on the hash where it was supposed to have been, let his wide receiver go ahead on and do the work, that pretty much shows you what Bo Nix can do for you as a quarterback.
I think great awareness and just a great job of executing and operating inside of a system. And I think that's the underrated part about this guy. Right? He's not as flashy with the numbers and everything else, but he does know what it's about and what the routes are trying to do and how to answer it. On this last play, again, pre-snap is always so important. What are we seeing here? For some reason, Arizona State in the red zone is playing with deep middle safety. Normally you don't want to do this. Why? Because all this guy's going to do is back up and already be in the end zone. It's touchdown, or he's basically just guarding the goalpost. What also that does, and you can see his corner down here is pointing, saying, hey, I need some help. Opens up these areas out here. Whichever side that corner can't be right. If he chooses a side, he's going to get himself beat. And we're going to see this right here. We talk about a post and then making it skinny. What does that mean? You just talked about it. You do not want to run at this guy right here because of why? He's going to blow you up.
He's going to blow you up. Your helmet's going to be turned the other way.
You've got this corner on the outside. Keep this thing as skinny as possible. But what I love, look at Bo Nix. He already knows where he's going with this football. He sees this distance that we have highlighted. He knows he can thread that needle, get that football in there, and he's going to do it.
But talk about before he throws the ball, his arm is already in motion. That safety is still in the middle of the field. Why is the safety in the middle of the field versus shading over to where he's about to throw it?
Well, I think it's really because he kept his eyes on the front side of this play. He didn't look or stare it down because that safety wasn't making a beeline. But again, I think it's just taking advantage of this 3-deep type of a defense in the red zone. That's why you don't see so much of it, because this guy's already 4 yards in the end zone. And they're just, especially with these college hash marks, there is just too much room on this side of the field, right here, all the way across, to defend this route. You just can't. And Bo Nix knows that. That's the part of him that I think is really kind of underappreciated. Look at this laser beam right there, right in between. Didn't even get touched. So Bo Nix knows how to operate in the system.
I mean, he didn't get touched, but that was a blitz. And you look at what Bo Nix's numbers look like versus the blitz last year: 21 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The guy knows how to play when pressure is in his face.
And speaking of the blitz, here we go. Against whom? Who is this?
I think I know this team.
Yeah, I think you might know this team too. They're going to try to get after him. It's in the red zone. We're going to get after him. He'll understand this, but then because of that, he knows he's going to have some one-on-ones down the field. So as he takes the snap when we get to the top, notice, though, the discipline to not be distracted by this guy right here. Who is that? Is that you?
I was at that game taking pictures.
So you got a little bit of background on Bo Nix. You kind of see how he operates. You know that when you say he's a leader, you've seen him, huh? Up close.
Just a little bit. I was hoping he didn't lead Oregon to victory this day, but we made it to the Fiesta Bowl. We'll take it.
But here, again, it's finding the spaces and the voids in relationships. We talk about this all the time. You have a tight end working up the middle of the field. He's going to occupy this guy, and he's going to occupy that guy. What does that mean? Well, that means this wide receiver is going to be open because this corner's facing that way. He has to say, if this guy runs the corner, I got to be on it. Watch this throw. It goes right exactly inside shoulder, touchdown, not hanging him out to dry. Again, Bo Nix, I think he understands these relationships that are going to be, and that understanding is going to translate to the next level.
I think learning your receiver or knowing who your receiver is for every route is huge when it comes to playing quarterback. If he leads that receiver a little bit too far inside, that's where the pain comes. So he puts it low, inside, and on the ground, so only him, the receiver, can catch the ball on the ground. So live to play another down.
Hey, Bo Nix, people talk about him not throwing the football down the field. Hey, we just showed you some examples of him not just doing that, but reading a defense and responding and playing within a system. Love that about him. Keep an eye on Bo Nix on draft day.